Hi y'all. I just want to kind of do a little chat about us coming to the end of our Mindful May. So, where and how did you work with the mindfulness, and where did you, you know, gain more perspective of that self-awareness and how you interpret, not only yourself but the world around you. So, there's so many things that we can do. Like, mindfulness is a lifestyle. Mindfulness is all about how you choose to live your life every day, whether it's body, mind, or spirit. So being mindful of your thoughts, being mindful of your expressions, being mindful of how you see the world around you, how you see yourself, how you see others, how you engage, and all of it. So even how we eat, how we choose to treat our bodies, everything. It's very important for us to really work with the energy of mindfulness to align with our highest, our greatest good, align with the highest versions of ourselves, and really allow ourselves to be present, allow ourselves to be, the best version of ourselves. So asking yourself those hard questions, even when it comes to while we're on this healing journey and when we are going through the motions, so to speak, going through the process of mindfully healing, and using the tools we have developed, the tools we are developing in order to make the best of our lives and who we are and who we are becoming, and doing that through a vibration of healing and love and respect and forgiveness and all of that. So we had a brief discussion on our live a few days ago regarding very much being our genuine selves, showing up as our genuine selves and showing up for ourselves, rather than, the false or toxic spirituality, which is everything is love and light and, just follow your light and all that kind of stuff. No, you have to trudge through the darkness, and you have to trudge through the shit before you get to the good stuff. There's no quick fix. There's no skipping, skipping steps or skipping the process. It all is through self-awareness, through a commitment to you, a commitment to the betterment of you, the betterment of who you are, the betterment of who you are becoming, and through a loving vibration of loving who you were, in every aspect of our life. So we have to look at it like each of us do the best we can according to who we are in each moment. And that goes for things that we agree with or things that we disagree with. Remember, number one, we all see life through our own experiences. We all see life through our programming, I guess you could say. So how we were raised, who we were raised around, people, places, and things, right? So the culture you were raised in, the physical atmosphere you were raised in, there's just so many different aspects of how we create our own existence and how we create our own world because of, the outside stimulants. So you take so are you taking the time to really allow yourself to be present and show up for yourself? Be your authentic self, be that authentic intrinsic part of you that is that high vibrational person, is that divine connection. So from all the information that I receive from Spirit, it's very much about we are an extension of Source. It's like, think about having this beautiful, like the tree of life, for instance, and the base of the tree, the core of the tree, that's Source, and we are all the branches, and the lives we live are the leaves. So it's like, we are not separate, we are just a different part of the one. So coming home to that and coming to a place of understanding where you're able to, find peace in that and find strength in that, find yourself in that is very important. So taking that time to be mindful and really be present Really be vulnerable with yourself and allowing yourself to heal. You know, we have attachments. We're human beings. We literally live through our emotions, our feelings, and so on and so forth. So in hindsight, we end up with attachments. And living a life in a non-attached way, living a life in a non-judgmental way, living life in a higher perspective, like all of that is very important because it's giving us a perception of something beyond us. So my right from wrong may not be your right from wrong. Your right from wrong may not be somebody else's right from wrong. So those kinds of things. It's like allowing yourself to control your thoughts and control your feelings, and understanding that that is the only control we have in this world, is us, is what comes from us, how we choose to see the world, how we choose to see ourselves, how we choose to see anyone and anything outside of ourselves. That's the only control that we have. And it's very important for us to realize that, because when people say, oh, well, you made me feel, nobody can make us feel anyway. And that's a really hard thing for people to understand, because even myself, when I had first started my journey, I was like, you know, that someone would piss me off and I'd be like, you made me feel blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, and I'm hostile and cranky and a little volatile. So coming into my own healing was a very big point of power and expansion for me, because I have control of my feelings. How someone else views me, or how someone else treats me, or how someone else speaks to me, or whatever, that's on them, that's not on me. I can choose to accept that or not. I can choose to take that as my own. So someone says, you know, you're an asshole. Are you? I mean, we all have our asshole moments for sure, but are you a complete asshole? No, hopefully not. But, you know, like, instead of taking things personal, you know, it's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Like, what else are you supposed to say? Are you gonna, you know, no, I'm not an asshole, you're an asshole, and we're gonna start the high school, you know, banter back and forth. And then there's no resolution. So allowing people to be who they are, allowing people to express themselves as they wish. And I'm not ever telling anyone to, you know, accept disrespect from anyone, or, you know, volatile behavior or anything like that. It's just a fact of, be mindful of what you accept in life. Be mindful of what you take on as your truth. Be mindful of other people's position in your life, right? So, I mean, there's been a number of times, you know, myself, when things have been said to me and I'm in this, my back is up and I'm pissed and I'm like getting hostile. And, you know, like someone had said something to me and I was like, well, if you think that, then you don't fucking know me. And, you know, I set off. So rather than being, it's unfortunate, you know, that's how you see me, or it's unfortunate that's how you feel, like, but that's your choice, you know, take care, have a good one. You know, in hindsight, that would have been a much better response than me feeding into the negativity. So just saying, okay, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm not here to control how you feel. I'm not here to control how you see me, so on and so forth. So think about us taking responsibility for ourselves. That's all that matters, because if every single person took responsibility for themselves and did their own healing, everyone would be a lot happier, and it'd be a much more calming place. But so many people are taking this responsibility on now, and have been for, you know, a little while, but it's the expansion over the last little while has been infinite and beautiful and amazing. And a lot of people are coming into this place of, they want to do healing, and they want to understand themselves, and they want to feel better and do better and be better, you know, be better human beings. And that in itself is magical and beautiful and wonderful. So choosing to be mindful, choosing to be present with yourself, and choosing to call yourself out on your own shit. Where am I contributing to my own fuckery? Where am I contributing to my own issues? Where am I contributing to, my own feelings and emotions, whether positive or negative, right? It's all about us making healthier choices for ourselves through mindfulness and through self-awareness and through that place of being authentic and teaching yourself how to take your power back from places that you have extended yourself where it was kind of like one-sided, right? So whether it's a job, 'cause there's people that, blood, sweat, and tears for their job, but they're replaceable and they're not valued as the employee that they should be. Like they're not valued as they should be as that employee. Relationships, friendships, like there's so many different aspects that we can look at and do like kind of a reassessment and say, right? Choosing to remain in places where you're not respected, choosing to remain in a place where you're undervalued, choosing to remain in a place where it's not serving your soul. And yes, people need to work, jobs and everything. So yes, but your soul will call you to a place of your highest and your greatest good when you let it. So aligning with your highest and your greatest good and your higher purpose. Like we all have a higher purpose, and the way we the way we get there is by releasing anything that is less than that. So, surrendering the control of the uncontrollable and allowing your team to really show you, to guide you. And sometimes they need permission to do that. Sometimes they need permission to step forward because we have the superhero power of free will. And they can't always step forward without us saying, I need you and please, help me, and so on and so forth. So calling on them, I need clarity on this situation, or I don't know what I need. Please, guide me and show me and be with me, whatever. Like talk to them freely and openly and every single day. Don't just talk to them when things are going shitty. Talk to them when things are going wonderful. We have to show that gratitude and that gratefulness for where we are. Even if where we are right now kind of sucks, we're still offered the opportunity to make it better. And allowing yourself to see that, allowing yourself to be present with that and know that, this really sucks right now. That's my bunny. This really sucks right now, but things will get better. Everything passes. Everything is temporary in this life. The good and the bad. Everything is temporary. So we have to appreciate and value where we are and trust in ourselves and our team and, this life, that we are the alchemist. We are the creator of self. We are the creator of our own existence, so to speak. And if you choose to see a situation as negative, then that situation is going to be negative. If you choose to see a situation as beneficial, then that situation, it will be beneficial. But it depends on how you wish to see it. And even in, I've been in some really shit situations, and the only thing I could say that was beneficial from those situations was I survived. I'm still here. And that's a beautiful thing. So taking your power back from negativity and from, situations and experiences that like you kind of felt held hostage by or anything like that, that's an opportunity for your growth. That's an opportunity for you to choose you and you to say, no, this no longer has power over me and I choose me. So being mindful about forgiveness, being mindful about allowing yourself to forgive. And that has to start within you, like forgiving yourself allows you to forgive others. So I've worked with a lot of clients that hold guilt because, they've either stayed in a situation too long that they shouldn't have stayed in, or they did something that they're not proud of, like those kinds of things. So when you learn to forgive you, when you learn to give yourself that compassion and forgiveness, whether it's, blaming yourself for staying somewhere too long, or allowing people to treat you in a certain way, you did the best you could according to who you were, but now you know better, right? And that personal power, and those points of power where we're able to take back our power, are showing us, so much more, because it's like, oh, and we gain wisdom, and we gain a deeper truth, excuse me, and we gain more clarity, and that's a beautiful thing. That's magic, and that's power, and that's divinity. So, like, I forgive myself for allowing others to treat me with disrespect, or to treat me, less than I deserve, kind of thing. So that's opening your heart up for you, to give you that forgiveness, and to say, you know what, it's okay, because we're here now, and we learned, and I was able to take this, lesson from that, or gain this wisdom from that, or, always look at the benefit of a situation. And maybe you met somebody, like a friend that helped you through a situation, and now you're closer because of it. Or maybe you moved and you're in a new place, and if that situation didn't happen, then you wouldn't be, like, you know what I mean? There's so many different aspects as to how we get where we are, right? So being present as to where we are, and allowing ourselves to appreciate that, is very important. And using your mindfulness, and really making that a healthy part of your daily routine and your daily life, and just like eventually just becomes like breathing, and it's just a natural way of how you perceive things. And the more you practice it, the more you utilize it, the more you allow yourself to, get real with it, the stronger you become, because you're taking responsibility for yourself. You're taking responsibility for your life. You're taking responsibility for your thoughts and your choices, and so on and so forth. There's so much more we can do for ourselves by being mindful. There's so much more we can learn about ourselves being mindful. So you have a negative thought, just out of the blue, like you're watching TV or you're walking out, and you just have this negative thought, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Right? But instead of just letting it slide and feeding it and making it another negative thought attached to another negative thought, and that ball, that momentum starts going, that momentum starts like moving, and now all of a sudden your head's full of negative thoughts. So rather than allowing that momentum to start with those negative thoughts, when you have that first negative thought, it's like, oh, where the hell did that come from? Okay, so, and what is a positive thought that I can now flip the switch, so that I'm thinking something positive rather than negative, right? I had a client, and they had told me they had a really bad habit of, judging people, because they were so insecure themselves growing up, that now it's pre-programmed in them to, look at someone and judge their shoes, or judge their hair, or look at them and find fault in them. We have to understand that we program ourselves as well, right? So because this person felt so insecure in their childhood, they developed this automatic response system. And not until in their adulthood did they even realize that, wow, this isn't cool. Like, this isn't who I want to be. So utilizing mindfulness and some other tools that we worked on really helped them to gain a deeper perspective and acknowledge when they were having those thoughts. And now those thoughts are little blips. They last a couple seconds and they keep it moving. And that in itself of realizing that I know when I'm being negative is a PowerPoint, because when we are self-aware, we have power, and that in itself is beautiful. So, well, that in itself is power. So, really allowing yourself to be present with your thoughts and be present with your emotions. Like, someone says something to you that's known you for, quite a while, and the old you would respond in a certain way. And so, you fell out with this person, don't really, know each other too well anymore, kind of thing. You both have an attachment to the old aspects of self. So this is who you were when you talked to this person, and this is how this person was when they talked to you. So you guys used to hang out, you were different people, and now you have attachments to the old selves, and then you come together and you start talking, and you can kind of trigger old reactiveness in each other, like trigger how, say you were very competitive, and that person could say something to trigger you into that competitiveness. Say, oh yeah, well I can, you're playing pool, you're throwing darts, I don't know, something, and you're just like, oh, I can sink the black ball in one, in one shot, or I can hit the bullseye, like whatever. So there's so many different things that we could attach this to, so to speak. But so this person would say something to you, and because that's an attachment from old self to your old self, you're reacting as your old self, right? And being mindful of that and being like, oh, well, that didn't feel right anymore. Like, we start not to feel good in the negativity. We start not to feel like my client no longer feels good when they're critical of somebody else. It just doesn't feel right to them. They feel ick. They're like, that, and now that feeling of yuck, this doesn't feel good, stops them from, either continuing the thought or continuing the verbiage. So, but that took them practicing and being mindful and being self-aware to know that I have to trust how I feel. So when something doesn't feel good, that means it's going against your vibration. That means it's not part of who you truly are, kind of thing. And that is very fear-based mentality, because our 3D selves are fear-based, and that's why we get into so many different conflicts within ourselves, because everything comes from fear. Everything. Whether it's when people get mad, it's generally based in fear in some manner. So it's very important to do that self-assessment. Ask yourself those tough questions as to why you react in a certain way, or why you contribute to certain things, or certain people, places, and things in your life that aren't good for you, and that aren't in benefit of your highest and your greatest good, or in benefit of your becoming, right? So being mindful helps us to release attachments. Being mindful helps us to be self-aware in that sense of, I know this isn't the vibration that I want in my life. I know this isn't in alignment with my, with my becoming and with my future self, right? Or my higher self. So just even having that type of self-awareness as to what is feeding your soul and what is draining your soul, right? So we have to take care of our body, minds, and souls. And being mindful is, say, physically, mindful eating, being present with your food, and even when you're cooking and putting meals together, feeling good about it, because you're nourishing this beautiful vessel that we get to live in. This is our physical home in this lifetime. So think of it in that aspect. And your eating habits will get better because it'll feel good to eat good. And when you eat something that, I'm not saying, everyone has to have this, perfectly healthy, complete balanced diet. It's just a fact of mindful eating, you know, excuse me, and being present with your food. I love this because it number one, it tastes great, and it's nourishing my body, and that makes it taste even better to me. So those kinds of things. So mindful eating, staying hydrated, all those kinds of things. And just looking after yourself, like looking after your body, mind, and spirit. So that means looking after your thoughts. That means looking after your feelings. That means looking after yourself on a whole, like your physical self as well. So, like even meditation. And I know meditation's become this frou-frou thing, and people have kind of lost the, I don't know, like the core of it, and the reason why we start meditating, or why we meditate in the first place. It's not to say I meditate every day. You know what I mean? It's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's not self-serving. It's self-beneficial, and it's selfless. Like it's very, well, it's self-serving in a very healthy way, but it's just super beneficial for anybody who feels good doing that. Feels good meditating. And sometimes it takes time to get used to it, or sometimes it takes time for it to be a feel-good thing. But that's our journey. That's your individual desires. And there's so many different ways to meditate. So we don't have to think that there's only one way we have to do this, or there's a multitude of ways. So, and there's different ways in looking after ourselves. So we are all individuals. We are all individual human beings. So my likes are not your likes. Your likes aren't somebody else's likes, and that's good, because we have so much power in individuality, because that's where the connectedness is, because we learn from each other, we can teach each other, we can grow in different ways with each other, and that's incredibly important, and that's part of the expansion. If we all did the exact same thing, and we were the exact same people, and we didn't make choices for ourselves, it'd be pretty boring. So allowing yourself to not agree with everybody, or not feel like we have to be friends with everybody, and not feel like we have to like everybody. In the spiritual community, it's not about liking everybody and being, kumbaya with everybody. It's about being your genuine self, and being your authentic self, and showing up for yourself, and being in that kind of a vibration will attract people on your level of vibrational energy. And that doesn't mean anybody's better than anybody, or higher or lower or whatever. It's just the fact of we're all on our paths of healing, and our paths of this whole life journey, and where we elevate ourselves, or where we vibrate at, that's a vibration that we're attracting. Remember, like attracts like, so that's what we're attracting. So the more work you're doing for yourself, the more healed you become, and you will attract those people that have done the work and are doing the healing, so on and so forth. But does it mean that you're going to like everybody, or everyone's going to like you? No. We're not here to be everybody's best friend. We're here to be respectful of each other, and we're here to learn from each other, even people that we don't agree with. I am not a religious person. I believe in the God consciousness and source and the oneness, like however you want to title God, but I'm not a religious person. I come from a religious family, and that caused a lot of issues, over my life. And it took me a long time to be accepting of that. That's what gives them, certain people in my family, that's what gives them solace and peace and feeling of comfort. And that's beautiful. And I respect and value that. It doesn't matter that our beliefs and what gives me peace and what gives me comfort are different. It just matters that they found peace and comfort and love in that, and I found peace and comfort and love in mine. So for me, it was letting go of the attachment to trying to make people see me in a certain light, or to have an understanding as to what my beliefs are and why I believe in what I believe in. It was just an acceptance of, I'm happy that that gives you peace. You know, I'm happy that that makes you happy. Like, that's part of your place of serenity. So, and that was just me letting go of my lower vibrational ego, that I, you know, surrendering to always having to be right kind of thing. And that's just our lower ego trying to, you know, puff up its chest. And but our lower ego is all about keeping us safe and being protective. So it's our ego in general, but it's like the lower vibrational part of that is that, you know, puffing up the chest, and no, you have to believe what I believe. You need to understand what the hell I'm saying. And it's not about that. It's about you standing up as your authentic self and everybody else doing the same thing. And I guess you can say agreeing to disagree, so to speak. And there's no power struggle there, you know? So just taking time to be with each other, just taking time to be in a place of understanding is part of mindfulness. Being in a place of acceptance is part of mindfulness. And being in that place of, I'm so confident in myself that how other people choose to live their lives, or how other people choose to see me, or how other people choose to behave, blah 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 blah, is not my responsibility. I am my responsibility. My journey includes my healing and choosing to accept or not accept, you know, certain people, places, and things, and so on and so forth. So it's all about choices. It's all about allowing yourself to really engage in mindfulness, really engage in, you know, that commitment to yourself to want to be mindful and to want to choose better for you. So I hope everyone, it's a bit of a spiel. I hope everyone, you know, is able to really incorporate Mindful May into the rest of the year. Mindfulness is something that feeds your soul. So, you know, if you haven't tried it, please do. If you have any questions, please reach out. I have a lot of wonderful tools and techniques for mindfulness and ways to be present with yourself. So I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful night whenever you get to see this, and take care. Namaste.